It's finally here. 2 years of AI agency knowledge compressed into a single 1-hour free course. I've never done this before, and I will likely never do this in the future. And the reason I did this is because when I first started, there was nothing like this. Everything was paid, everything was done by these scammer gurus who didn't actually know what they were talking about. I wanted to change that. I wanted to be the first person to make a legitimate 1-hour free AI agency course covering everything I know, from building the offer all the way to acquiring clients and even fulfilling for those clients to make them happy clients who not only pay you once, but pay you for life. You guys are in for a treat, so let's jump in to the free 1-hour AI agency course. But before we jump in, we must understand why AI agency. Because let's just be honest, there's 1,000 people online preaching 1,000 different business models for 1,000 different reasons. So why AI agency? Well, if you look at drop shipping, you're going to gain $20 to $300 per product that you sell. It's going to cost you $1,000 to $2,000 to even start up one of these businesses because you need money for Shopify, you need money to run ads, all this stuff. You have super tight profit margins. You're only making like 10 to 40%. That's not very good, and demand varies by the year. For example, at Christmas time, it might do a little bit better than summertime. Fulfillment is pretty easy because it's just all outsourced. You're just hiring some Chinese company to ship BS terrible products that nobody's ever going to buy from you. And that's ultimately why these deal types are one-off. Nobody's ever coming back and returning to your business because you're quite literally selling BS. Then the second thing is a marketing agency. This is like the old way. This is like the preliminary to an AI agency, where you get $1,000 to $3,000 per sale that you make. It costs you $250 to $1,000 to start up the business, which isn't very low, but it also isn't very high. And you actually have decent profit margins. You make 60 to 75%, but ultimately the demand is super low because there's millions of AI agencies out there selling the same saturated services to the same saturated markets and honestly giving the same saturated average results. And fulfillment for these type of businesses is medium. You can outsource it, you can do it yourself. Either way, it's going to be a headache at the end of the day, and ultimately this is a recurring deal type. So that's the one thing marketing agencies have going for them, is usually when you get a client, if you can at least provide decent results, that client's going to renew. They're going to pay you the next month, and then they'll pay you the month after. Then you have people who do YouTube automation and clipping, where they literally get $2 for every 1,000 views. That's basically like a McDonald's worker salary. It's a great business because it costs practically nothing to start up, maybe $200, and you have 90% profit margins, which also isn't bad. But the demand for this service is so low. No one's paying clippers loads of money. It's because clippers just don't make businesses lots of money. Businesses aren't really out there looking for clippers. There's a few guys here and there, but they usually stop after a month or two. And it's very hard to become a clipper because, like I said, you get paid per views, and views are not substantial in most cases. You're going to post a video and you're going to get a few hundred views if you're lucky, and ultimately it's not a great deal type because, once again, it is just pay per view. Then you have day trading. And day trading, you could make $1 per day, or you could make $100,000 a day, or even $1 million a day if you wanted to. So it's hard to quantify a unitary gain, but it's going to cost you at least $5,000 in startup capital to make substantial real amounts of money. And even then, that's a very low amount. I have multiple 5 figures in my investment account, and I'm lucky to make $1,000 return every single month just passively investing. Obviously, I'm not a day trader, but that's just passive. And then profit margin is usually 5 to 15% because, like I said, you're just spending so much money to make so little. And demand, once again, it varies. Sometimes the market's hot, sometimes the market is dry. Fulfillment, kind of NA, can't really put a fulfillment tag on day trading, but it is recurring. You can always make more money with trading, and as you build your account, you can do bigger and bigger investments. But AI agency, specifically me and my business partner's model of running an AI agency, which I will be teaching you in this free course, you can make $5,000 to $10,000 when you sell one client. It only costs $97 to start this business. You have 70 to 80% profit margins. That's not a lie. Like, I'm not like saying this to hype a business model. This is legit, and I'm going to show you guys how to have 70 to 80% profit margins. The demand is higher than ever because businesses are spending more and more money on AI than ever before. It's unprecedented amounts. And fulfillment, in all honesty, it's medium. It's not the easiest thing to fulfill on in the world, but it surely is not hard. And the best part is, it's not only one-off. Not only do you get $5,000 to $10,000 when you sign a client, but you can also sign them up for recurring payments. So you can build monthly recurring revenue. And there's 1,000 people on YouTube preaching the AI agency model, saying you can make so much money with it. What I found is the best way of starting an AI agency is the AI arbitrage agency. It's not where you're going out and sitting on N8N or learning all these AI tools yourself. No, you don't want to learn any of these AI tools. Instead, you want to be the sales rep. You don't want to build homes. You want to be the real estate agent. You want to be the person selling the homes that other people are building. So what you're going to do is your client is going to give you 3 stacks of money, let's say. Then you're going to take 1 stack of money out of the 3 stacks of money that your client gave you to hire an AI contractor, someone in a third world country, outsource it to them to build and deliver the service to your client. That leaves you with 2 stacks of money while doing virtually no work at all. This is how I built my dream life at 17 years old. This is how I've been able to achieve my dreams, buy my dream watch, buy my dream car, Ferrari 296 at 17, because I'm not always working to make my money. I can instead spend my time as a business owner doing higher leverage tasks. I'm not this foot soldier who's constantly building automations all day. And that's really what sets my model, me and my business partner's model, away from many others, is the fact that when you do our model, you're not sat at a computer all day. And because of that, you can scale. You have infinite scalability. You're not bottlenecked by service delivery like most people. You see, throughout humanity, there have been 4 major trends. Number 1 is the agricultural trend. This trend is where we stopped being hunters and gatherers and instead cultivated crops and built communities to survive and thrive together. The second big trend was the industrial trend. In the industrial trend, we were able to communicate like never before. We created railroad systems, the first cars, the first airplanes. We could travel, where in the agricultural trend, traveling was incredibly difficult and take loads of time. Now, with the internet trend, which is the third big trend, we were able to communicate even better. Instead of traveling to communicate or mailing this thing that was going to take days, you could send an email to someone in a second. You could send a message to someone in a second. And this was a huge game changer because before, let's say a medical document had to be sent, it would take days with the industrial trend. Now, the fourth trend, this is the largest trend. This is the trend that's going to change all trends before it. That's the AI trend. This trend is going to change the industrial trend. It's going to change the internet trend. It's going to add fuel to all of those fires and ultimately change every trend we've had before. And this is where we get in because most business owners want AI. And with all trends, there's always 2 people. Number 1 is the creator. To be a creator, it requires millions of dollars in capital, incredible expertise on a specific field or industry, all with no guarantee you're actually going to succeed. But what I like to be, and what I'm going to show you in this video, is how to be an implementer. This requires very little capital to get started, little to no skill set to get started, with a much higher likelihood of succeeding because you're not investing billions of dollars into getting started. Anyone coming from any background can start and scale a 100K per month AI agency just like I had. When I was 15 years old, living in my mom's basement, basically, just in the middle of nowhere, Virginia. There's nothing that I had that you watching this video right now didn't have. I come from nothing. My parents worked minimum wage, making hardly anything, and I've been able to build a successful agency essentially from the ground up. And some examples of these creators and implementers are, Henry Ford. He created the Ford company. He created Ford vehicles, but the implementer was the Ford dealership. They take Henry's creation, take his vehicles that he's building, but instead of building them themselves and learning how to build a vehicle, they just sell it. They sell it to the end user. Or another example is Mark Zuckerberg. He built Facebook, the largest advertising platform on the entire world. Same thing with Instagram. And instead of going out and trying to build Facebook to run your own ads, you could be like Iman Gadzhi, who started an SMMA, a social media marketing agency. You could even say Tai Lopez. These people started these agencies to, instead of building these multi-billion-dollar brands, no, they just started small businesses that connected the multi-billion-dollar brand, the advertising platform, with the advertiser and facilitated the transaction. That's exactly what you're doing with the AI arbitrage model that I spoke on before. You're not learning how to build these AI tools. You're not spending hours doing this. You're just facilitating transactions. So now I want to show you the exact offer I'm selling for $10,000 upfront to local mom and pop shop businesses. But before I do that, I first must explain the traditional online agency and why it's essentially broken. So the traditional online marketing agency, like what I just described Iman Gadzhi doing, is where you acquire a client for $1,000 to $2,000 up front. And it's going to take loads of effort to get that client results. You got to build ad campaigns where you got to pay a media buyer and they're going to take a small cut of your profits, or a customer service rep where they got to do onboarding calls, data gathering, Slack support, hiring support, all that other stuff. And then loads of others as well, like hiring appointment setters, building out back-end funnels, doing SEO, etc. Just these mind-numbing tasks that ultimately are not worth the $1,000 to $2,000 that you're getting paid. And by the end of it, you're just better off getting a job. You're going to hate your life. This is what I went ran before I started my AI agency. I ran my own marketing agency. And in all transparency, it was not successful. I was not able to make it work. My best month ever was $2,000, which is nothing, okay? That's why the agency model is broken, because they're not able to give results to their clients within 30 days because it's just genuinely hard to fulfill. And because of that, there's loads of competition. There's a red ocean of the same saturated services being sold to the same saturated markets and ultimately giving the same saturated average results. Your client's competitor is always ranking higher than your client because there's so many marketing agencies just like you working in so many businesses that not only for you to get the client, but even when you do get the client, it's hard for you to give them great results because you're also just competing with other people who are getting clients with you. It's very difficult. And that ultimately leads to your client churning and not becoming a recurring customer. And now you miss out on the opportunity to upsell. And that's where the real money is made. If you look at a company like Closers.io, which is a sales placement company, they make $4 million per month, but only 35% of that is new sales, front end sales. 65% of their $4 million a month is money that they make on the back end from people who've already paid them front end before, and now they're just upselling and putting them on subscriptions. Zero back end equals a drowning business that is just destined to fail. You see, the ultimate issue with this entire agency model is you sell a commoditized offer. You're selling something that not everybody wants. Everyone has read Alex Hormozi's $100 million offers. So everyone is going to sell a very similar offer to you. And it ultimately resolves in you not actually solving the entire problem. Instead of building your client a bridge, you're just giving them a singular brick. It doesn't get them across the gap. It ultimately gives them no massive result, and they churn like I was talking about before. No matter how you flip that brick, no matter how you position it, it's not going to get your client across the gap. But with my 100K per month AI agency system, it's a little bit different. We give them multiple bricks. We do multiple things to take them from A to Z, to fill that entire gap, to take them from a prospect or someone who comes to you in pain to a successful client who gets real results. You see, there's a gap in any sales-based industry, and that is, number one, getting a lead. Number two, putting that lead or potential client into a sales appointment. And then number three, closing that sales appointment. If a local service-based business can get a lead, put them into an appointment, and then close that appointment, they're destined to make loads of money. So as an AI agency, we're going to solve all three of those things. We're going to build that entire bridge for our client. And we're going to do it by just solving one simple mechanism. Not 20 things, not 50 things. We're not over confusing ourselves. We're not over leveraging our business to provide a result that we can't even fulfill on. We're just doing one simple thing. When it comes to getting leads, we're going to hire a white label marketing agency to run ads for our client. And that white label marketing agency could be anyone. Literally just go on Google, type in white label marketing agency. The one that my agency uses and multiple members inside of my private mastermind is Stealth Agency. They're very cheap and they give great results. So you're number one, generating your client a lead, which you're not actually doing yourself, you're just outsourcing. Then you're going to use an AI caller to set leads into appointments. These AI callers can have full 10 to 40 minute long conversations, sound like a real human, and ultimately book leads into an appointment without the lead even knowing it was AI. And we're going to build these AI callers on a platform called Retail.ai, where you just hire an offshore AI developer from somewhere like Upwork.com to do all the heavy lifting and development for you. You're not learning how to use retail yourself. And the final thing is closing deals. So we're going to rebuild their sales script to be 10 times better using AI. We'll use ChatGPT or DeepSeek AI to generate professional sales script for the business by just transcribing their sales recordings that they already have, plugging it into the platform, and just asking it to analyze the transcriptions. Figure out the most common questions, figure out the most common objections that the business owners are getting, and then rewrite a script from the ground up to pre-handle all of these things. And I'm going to dive deeper into all the back-end finances behind this offer, but you can easily sell what I just showed you for $10,000 up front. And like I explained, this realistically has zero effort involved. You can hire a white label agency to go do all the lead gen. The appointment setting is all done by an AI caller. You don't have to train real humans. There's no hiring, no hassle. And when it comes to closing deals, you're just creating a one-time SOP or rebuilding their script one time to do it all. And this is going to result in you making amazing results for your client after the free month term, because ultimately time is on your side. Instead of selling this one-off offer like the traditional marketing agency would, where they have to fulfill within the 30 days that they got signed for, with this offer that I just showed you guys above, you're selling it as a free month program. 90 days, you get 90 days to deliver results because time is on your side. So you have 90 days to actually give them results. And then you're just providing a better service with next gen tech. This is some live data from actually one of the AI callers that we built for one of our clients. This example, they did 17,000 dials. We spent $300 to initiate 17,000 dials, and an outcome is an appointment. So we were able to get 12 booked appointments for that client at an average cost of $25 per appointment. Or if we look at this one, we were able to do 11,000 dials. We spent $166 and booked 24 appointments at an average cost of $6 per appointment. You guys can look at the data and do the math yourself. There's loads of stuff here for you guys to look at. But this genuinely provides good results for the client, meaning they're not going to churn. They're not going to stop paying you. Where then you can upsell them on data, support, and management. If you guys look at the biggest companies in the world, the companies like Amazon, Microsoft, and Apple, they make all their money off data. They just sell people's data. They're not doing any of the heavy lifting on their own. You're easily making 1 to 2K per month after upselling them. And that's where you enter the realm of infinite returns, where you have this happy client who's constantly referring friends and just building his flywheel of new free clients coming in without you even spending money on ads or doing any outreach to even get them. And then on top of that, after they come in, you're upselling them on a monthly recurring package where you're putting them on a support plan. And ultimately, if you build a good enough client relationship, you may even be able to get a company growth commission, which is essentially equity in the company. You don't actually own part of the company, but within a contract and a term, you get a certain amount of the percent of sales that they make. For example, if you could get 10% of sales from a HVAC business that makes 100K per month, that's an extra $10,000 a month coming into your pocket, not even including the fixed cost that they're actually sending you. So to give you guys a better idea of the back-end finances on a system like this, like I said, we're selling this offer for $10,000 up front, and that includes 3 months of support in 90 days. Now, the client is going to cover all ad spend and software fees. You do not spend any of your out-of-pocket money to build the system when it comes to paying for subscriptions or paid ads, whatever it may be. That is coming out of the client's pocket separately. Clients are not having a problem paying for this. So what are your profit margins? What are you actually spending money on when you get paid $10,000? So first thing you need to pay for is that white label agency, where they are going to charge you $500 a month to fulfill for your clients. And of course, like I said, you're doing it for 3 months included. So that's a total of $1,500 of that 10 grand going towards a white label agency. Now, the second thing is the AI developer. You're just paying them a fixed rate of $1,000 per deal. Super duper simple. They're not paid on any salary or anything like that. It's just a per contract basis. Then the final thing is a virtual assistant. The virtual assistant is going to be doing all the sales script related stuff, just transcribing the recordings, putting it into DeepSeek or ChatGPT to do all that stuff. You just pay them $300 per month. They're not paid any extra whenever you get new clients. It's a fixed cost of $300 per month for all of your clients combined. Meaning, if you even just sell one of these deals for $10,000, you're profiting $7,200 instantly. That's assuming you outsource everything, and even some of these numbers here are overshots. You can find white label agencies for $250 a month. You can find AI developers for $500. You can find VAs for $100 a month. This is massive overshots, but either way, it's still massively profitable. And if you guys are curious on the top niches to sell AI to, here they are. I have over 100 members in my private mastermind. I've scaled 2 different AI agencies myself to 6 figures. These are our data. This is our data. This is what we found actually works the best. The easiest businesses to target are home service companies. This is people like roofers, HVAC companies, pool builders, solar companies, and landscaping. The second easiest is professional services. This is more medium. It's not easy, but it's also not super hard. This is the bookkeepers, the real estate agents, the mortgage brokers, the accounting, and the law firms. And then the hardest of the bunch are the high-ticket online businesses. This is high risk, high reward. If you can nail these markets, you could make loads of money. But if you're a brand new beginner, I wouldn't recommend jumping into here because it's very difficult. This is people like other marketing agencies, consulting companies, info products, and coaches. In all honesty, if you don't pick an AI agency niche and niche down hyper-specific, the chances of you being successful are very low. That's what I found from my data. We found that hyper niching is actually the best way to go about it. So opposed to even saying, let's say roofers, you could say roofers who are based in Florida, which is a state in the United States of America. Hyper niching. Another way that you could do that is instead of saying clinics, you could zero in on a specific type of clinic. So, for example, peptides are a big thing right now. It's kind of like steroids, Ozempic, stuff like that. If you guys know what that is, that's essentially kind of what peptides are. I'm not super big. I don't know that much about it. So maybe I'm even wrong in explaining that. But instead of saying, hey, I help clinics, say, hey, I help peptide people. I help people do peptides, because that's the real people who are going to buy from you. They don't want to buy from generalists. They don't want to buy from people who are helping everyone. If people feel like you help everyone, they're not going to want to pay you money, because let's just be honest. Like my agency is called 100K AI Agency. If I'm talking to a guy who sells peptides and there's a company called peptide.ai where all they do is help peptide people, but I'm the generalist called 100K AI Agency, they're going to go towards the peptide guy 100% of the time, because it sounds like they only help peptide people. And that's what you need to do. Now, obviously, at my stage, I have to be generalized. I have a large brand. I have all types of businesses from all types of backgrounds reaching out to me. But even when I'm running paid ads and whenever I'm doing paid marketing, I kind of act like I'm a ghost company. I try to act like I only help a specific field, because that's what's going to make these people want to buy from you. So now it's time to jump into the sales process that's going to help you get one deal every single day, a 10K per day sales process. So there are two common client acquisition methods. Number one is going to be paid advertising, and number two is going to be YouTube content. And you might be wondering, Wyatt, where's cold outreach? Why don't we do cold outreach? Cold outreach is garbage. It's a critical waste of time. This is Instagram and Facebook DMs where you DM businesses. This is where you're reaching out to people through cold email. This is where you're cold calling. You are literally better off getting a job at McDonald's than trying to do cold outreach for your AI agency. Okay, the average McDonald's worker makes around $13 per hour. You work 10 hours per day at $13 an hour, that's $130 a day. If you can put 100 of that $130 a day, let's say you spend $30 on food, gas, all that shit just to live. If you can spend $100 of your $130 per day budget and put it into paid ads, you will make more money, a higher ROI, than if you were to spend 10 hours per day DMing people on Facebook, LinkedIn, email outreach, or cold calling businesses. And I can make such a bold claim because I've done this myself. I've spent hours cold calling law firms trying to sell AI. I've seen mastermind members go out, I tell them this advice, I tell them the same thing I tell you, they don't listen to it, they still go do it, and they come back like, yep, you're right, Wyatt, it was a critical waste of time. You're going to spend so much time cold calling businesses to get nothing in return. You're much better off having businesses reach out to you. The issue of cold outreach is you're inquiring to someone. They are not inquiring to you. But if you do paid advertising or if you do YouTube content, people are inquiring to you. People are coming to you. You're in the position of authority. When you're doing cold outreach or going out and trying to reach out to a business, you're putting yourself in a submissive position where they are the authority figure and you're trying to get them on a sales call. I don't like being bitched. I don't like to be put in that non-authoritative position. So for that reason, I like to do paid advertising. Okay, so paid advertising can be done so many ways. You could do AI ads on arcads.ai that look like real humans. You could do Twitter style ads where it just looks like a Twitter post. You could do AI generated ads. I'm going to show you guys how to do a few of these. So here goes an example of an AI generated ad that we have actually run. Attention contractors, license our AI system that books my subcontracting company 60 to 70 appointments per month. It's a very simple ad, but it catches your eye. It makes you look like, whoa, what the heck is this? You might be wondering, how can I make an ad like this? All you got to do is you go on the ChatGPT and you just type in something simple. If we look at this ad right here, I don't remember exactly what I typed in, but I'm going to make an educated guess. I probably said, generate a construction worker on the beach in Miami with sunglasses and a hard hat on, holding a margarita. And guys, if I mess up my spelling, I don't spell, I sell. I'm a high school dropout. You guys can deal with it. With two hot Latina women in their 20s behind him. Boom. And let's see what this generates. Let's see what image it spits out for us. So boom, this is what it generated. This isn't exactly what we're going for. This doesn't feel like this. So what we're gonna do is, in most cases, not everything's perfect. It doesn't come out exactly how you want it to. We're just gonna edit a little bit. I'm just gonna type, make it look slightly less realistic, but not cartoony. And now it's going to generate a new one that should hopefully look a little bit more like this. But even this one, this isn't horrible. This isn't too bad. It's just we want it to look a little bit more cartoony because it just doesn't look right. It looks a little bit uncanny right now. All right, so this is what it generated. A little bit cartoony, but we're going to roll with it for the sake of the example. Not everything has to be perfect, guys. Sometimes getting shit done fast is better than just trying to be some specialist who tries to make everything perfect. So we have this image. We're going to go to this blank one right here, and we are just going to drag and drop it just like that. We're going to size it up so then it fits a square pattern as good as possible. Boom, just like that. And what we're going to do is if we were to put text right now, it would be very full. Like the whole page would be filled with text because the person's in the way and it would just look sloppy. So what Canva has is an awesome tool and it's called Magic Generator. So we're going to go to Magic Expand and we're just going to expand all edges of this photo. So then we have more room to work with. So then we're not covering up the subject of the photo with our text that we're going to be adding. So it's going to generate 4 different possibilities and we can just choose from them to pick the one that we want the most. So for example, I think this one is probably the best. Once again, we're not actually using all of this stuff in the photo. We just need barely enough so then we can zoom out a little bit. So what we're going to do is zoom it on out just a tad. So then boom, just like that, we have room to then make different stuff without covering up the entire photo. So right here, if you guys notice, behind all of the text, we have a black fade. And that's built to make the text stand out. Because right now, it wouldn't stand out without that black fade. When you add it in there, it makes it stand out. So where we're going to put text, I'm just going to put black fade. So we'll put it in this corner right here. And then we'll put it below them all right here. And I'm also going to expand it a little bit so then it ends up covering up a little bit more at the bottom. And right here, you just put whatever you want. So let's just use the attention contractors, for example. We'll throw that right there. And then we'll just use the same headline right here. Now, obviously, you can use different headlines. And this one isn't sticking out very well. So I'm actually going to move this black fade up, make it a little bit larger. So then it hopefully sticks out a little bit more. There we go. And what you guys can even do is you can go into effects and then add like a lift or something to make it stand out even more. So boom, just like that, you have something that is a little bit better. And we can even change the color. If, for example, we decide, hey, pink just isn't really standing out, we could make it all yellow. It's not a big deal. And now it stands out perfectly fine. But what you want to do in your ad is you want it to be very clear who you serve. So first thing we're doing, attention contractors, making it incredibly clear who we serve, who are we actually selling to. And then after we do that, we want to drop our offer. We're just being super upfront. Everyone is always trying to hide stuff from these business owners. They're fucking sick of it. Like, people are sick of being lied to. People are sick of being taken advantage of. So don't take advantage of them. Don't try to lie to them. Straight up, just tell them your offer. Go down here and tell them what you do. Tell them how you're going to help them and what you're going to do to do it. Very simple ad. Another thing you could do is something like arcads.ai. So essentially what arcads is it's a library of human looking and sounding AI actors. So you can go in here, you can put pretty much anyone in the world. You can pick young people, you can pick old people, you can pick male, you can pick female, whoever you want, they're inside of arcads. And let's say, like, I like Frank. If I want to use Frank in an ad, I would just press whatever I want. You pay for the plan. Obviously, arcads is a little bit more expensive, but it is worth it if you guys do want to do it. Then right here, you would just put in a script. And we're not going to make the script ourselves. We're just going to use Claude AI to do it. And you don't need the paid plan of Claude AI to do these scripts. You can just use a free one. Claude AI, if you guys have never heard of it, it's essentially ChatGPT, but for writing things. It's really good at making sales copy. It's great at writing stuff, so then you can turn around and put it in the paid ads. And what I like to do is I like to impersonate popular writers. For example, Dan Henry, he's one of the greatest digital marketers of all time, opposed to just telling Claude AI like, hey, I run an AI agency. Can you generate me a script for a paid advertisement? This is our offer. This is who we help. This is how we help them. I'll say all that stuff, but then at the end, I'll tell him, hey, write it like Dan Henry. give it 30 seconds to 1 minute, and it's going to write a very good script written in a similar style to how Dan Henry would have wrote it. Now, if I was to ask Dan Henry to write a sales script for me, he'd probably make me pay him $10,000. But now Claude AI just did that for completely free. And you just type the script right here. Once you pick the actor you like, pick him right here, and then press this button. 10 minutes later, you got an AI ad generated just like that. Now, if you guys remember, the other thing that you can do is YouTube content. So these are actually a few examples from members of my private mastermind, some of the content that they posted. How I built a solar AI agent that makes 100K in sales. How I built an HVAC AI agent that brings 100K in book jobs. This AI voice agent doubles your mortgage appointments automatically. These are just a few examples of videos that you can create. And the truth is, these videos, they don't get views. They get like no views. They get maybe like 100 views if you're super lucky. Some of them get 10 views. Some of them get 5 views. But these are high quality viewers. If an HVAC business owner, someone who's not tech savvy, probably some old dude in his 40s, 50s, maybe 60s, is looking up how to get jobs on YouTube, they're in a desperate state. Like they need your help. They need you to help them. So they're in a prime buying position when they watch your video. So even if you can get 10 views, if you can convince one of those 10 people to book a sales call, and then you take 5 videos, so 5 videos get 10 views, one person out of the 10 people book a sales call, that's 5 sales calls, 25% close rate. You just made $10,000 from filming 5 10-minute YouTube videos. It's that simple, guys, and that's such a higher ROI than doing what I was talking about with paid ads. Like, this shit is garbage. Don't be doing cold email. Don't be doing any of that. This is way better. So the way that you're going to make good YouTube content is by copying people. And this is actually some value. I paid over $20,000 to a YouTube mentor to learn what you guys are about to be taught for completely free in this video. Okay? You're going to go to a tool called vidIQ. Just look up vidIQ on Google, download the tool, don't pay for it. You don't need the paid plan, but you're gonna download the extension. And once you have the extension, it'll add something to your YouTube account. When you're looking at videos, you'll see a little outlier score. So for example, this one right here, it says 3.2x. What this means is for this guy's YouTube channel, this video performed 3.2x better than his average video. So what you can do is, for example, you can look up AI agent for real estate. Let's say you're targeting real estate agents, and you can scroll through these videos and you can find the outliers. So this one is insane. Learn AI agents, real estate agents need this. This is a 33x outlier. It got 12,000 views in 8 months. This means this video is a bombshell. So guess what you're gonna do? You're gonna copy the title, you're gonna copy the thumbnail, and you're gonna copy certain aspects of the video. The best people in the world don't try to go out and innovate and make brand new videos. No, the best creators, people like Mr. Beast, the largest YouTuber in the entire world, he just recreates pre-existing ideas. He recreates his own videos that have already went viral. He looks at other people's videos that are going viral, just like we're doing right now, and he recreates them. That's exactly what you're doing. You're just scrolling, and you're gonna find AI videos for whatever niche. For example, 10 AI tools for real estate agents in 2025. This is a 23x outlier, got 8.5K views in 4 months. This guy does not have a big YouTube channel, but this video was a bombshell. It did 23 times better than his average video because that means it's a good video. So you should just copy it to a T. Copy it as close as you possibly can. It's not like YouTube's gonna take you down for copying content. They can't do that. He doesn't own the rights to make a video like this. Obviously, if you used his exact face, he could take it down, but just throw your face on it, throw your own spin on it, and make it your own thing. And just like that, you'll have a unique video that is easy to upload and honestly doesn't take that much effort. And if you look at all these people, they're just like you. They're sending them somewhere. Join the Autopilot AI Agent Academy or whatever the fuck this dude's talking about. I don't know what he's selling. I haven't looked into it. I don't know who Brandon Upright is, but he's selling something to somebody. And in the description of the video, he just puts a link. Same way on a Facebook ad, you would have a learn more button to go to a sales funnel. You're going to have a sales funnel in the description of your YouTube video. In the description of your video, you get sent to a funnel, and inside of that funnel, you can buy a product or book a sales call for whatever he's trying to sell you. So that you're going to do the exact same thing on your channel as well. Just have a super simple description. This is not a good way to do it. I wouldn't have all this content. This is just diversifying people into 20 different places. Just have a simple sentence with a link to book a call. It's that simple. So where are we sending them to? Well, let's cover that next. Let's cover these sales pages and how it all works. So it all starts with your opt-in page. I'm actually going to show this to you guys inside of Go High Level, exactly how it's all built out. So on the opt-in page, essentially what you want to do is you want to keep it so simple. So many people, they try to put videos, they put so much text on this page, they make it confusing. Confused buyers don't buy. Confused people don't opt into websites and give you their information. You want to keep it as simple as humanly possible. Just throw your logo at the top and then put niche looking to 10x your monthly profits in 90 days. So whatever niche you decided to target earlier in this video, learn how you can use our proprietary XYZ AI system to generate 30 to 100,000 in new sales per month while working less than ever. Enter your name and email below to get instant access to more information on this opportunity. And it's just a simple form to get their full name, email, and phone number, and then they just press submit. So right here when it says XYZ AI system, what are we actually putting here? Well, we want to come up with a fancy name to call our system. I call this a unique mechanism. It's your unique mechanism. What do you have that the average AI agency or the average agency in general does not have? So for example, if you're targeting dentists, it could be brush.ai. Like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It just can't be confusing. You can't confuse people with it, and it needs to make sense for your specific niche. For example, if you're doing solar, you could do sun.ai, or if it's roofing, shingle.ai. Just something quirky that sounds funny, that's kind of a joke. Just throw it in here and call that your system, and then just promise money. We're not breaking down the offer. We're not talking about, oh, we're going to generate leads, then we're going to build an AI caller, then we're going to help you close deals. We're not explaining that. We're like, hey, we're going to make you 30 to 100,000. We're talking about the end result, and I'll talk about it more later on this video when we start covering sales call related things, but it's so important to talk about the end result when actually selling to businesses. This is one of the number one things I teach inside of my mastermind. So many people want to start confusing prospects with stupid stuff that doesn't matter on the front end, and that's why I created my mastermind. I wanted to help people be able to build and scale their own AI agency without making the same mistakes I did when I first started. So if that's even 1% interest in you and you would want one-on-one mentorship from me, it's not a large mastermind, it's one-on-one. You basically get my personal phone number. You can text me whenever you have questions. I do 5 weekly Zoom calls. You can ask me whenever you have questions. Hop on Zoom, ask me questions. Then click the top and only link in the description of this video to book a one-on-one game plan call, either with me personally or my business partner if I can't make it. Well, number one, give you a game plan to start your agency, but more importantly, see if we feel like you're a fit for mastermind. But nonetheless, after they opt into that form, you're going to send them to a second page called the calendar page. So on this page, you basically just reiterate what you just said in the other page. You're just kind of copy and pasting the text right on over. But the difference is, instead of a form, now there's a calendar. And the reason we don't just immediately send them to the calendar before is the truth is most people who submit your form are not going to self-book. It's the harsh truth. I wish it was that way, but it's just simply not. Most people are not going to self-book when they see that form. So what you need to do is you need to build back-end systems, which I'll show you guys in just a second, to re-engage those leads who don't self-book. But of course, we want to give people the option to self-book on this calendar because most people will, and that's the end goal ultimately. Now, after that calendar page, you send them to something called the pre-call page. Now, on this pre-call page, all you want to do is get them to consume content. And we'll talk more about pre-call videos later, but it's a very simple page with a video. And then after that, you tell people to confirm the calendar invite in their email. And then the final thing is, if you have testimonials, these are just some white label testimonials that I let members of my private mastermind use. If they don't have client results already, just so we can get a head start, you would put them right here as well. So that's a sales funnel. But like I said, most people who, request information, who give you their name, email, and phone number, they're not actually going to self-book. And that's why we have our pre-call appointment setting campaign. So we're going to reach out through 3 different channels. Number one is SMS. If you guys don't know what SMS is, it's basically text messages. So this is a Go High Level automation, and it's actually all inside of Go High Level right here, where essentially what you are going to do is whenever a lead opts in, as soon as they fill out that form, we're going to try to book them into an appointment. So this is the automation right here. I'm not going to show you guys the specific thing that we actually say. It's not this one, it's the next one. Actually, we text nurturing sequence. I'm not going to show you guys the exact stuff we say because people in the mastermind, it's private for them and I don't want it getting leaked out there. But essentially, what we're doing on this pre-call flow is we're waiting 6 minutes and we're sending our initial text message. Something very simple, just like opening yourself, hey, notice you opted in, etc., etc. Then if we don't get a response or if they don't book a call after 1 hour, we follow up. We do another follow-up in 24 hours if the same 2 have not happened. Another follow-up after 48, and then we follow up after 48 again. Then after that, we do AI calling. We drink our own Kool-Aid. We don't only sell AI callers built on Retail and SendFlow, so you can build a Retail or SendFlow AI caller yourself. And this is really cool because when you book leads and book people into appointments, in most cases, they don't actually realize that it was an AI caller calling. They thought it was a real human because these AI callers genuinely work. Like, it's not BS. Like, people don't realize that they're actually talking to AI. So let's say somebody gets on a sales call after they were booked by your AI caller built on Retail or SendFlow AI. And they're like, oh, I don't know if this actually works, or oh, I need proof that the system works. But do you remember talking to Rebecca? Oh, yeah, I remember talking to Rebecca. Well, guess what? She was actually AI. Wait, what? She was AI? I had no clue. Like, it just blows their mind, and they have no choice but to listen to what you have to say because they inevitably know that you're right. They know that, oh my God, I just opted in a system. This system was just used on me, and it clearly worked. Like, I can't say it didn't work. So what you're going to do is immediately, the second they submit that form, like when they press that button, you're calling them. Immediately calling them. Then you're doing a 1 hour follow-up if they didn't answer, a 3 hour follow-up. Even if they answered, you're following up after 3 hours, trying again, 24-hour follow-up. And guess what? We're calling them 1 time per week forever. My philosophy when it comes to getting the lead is they either buy from us, they tell us goodbye, or they die. They buy, or die. If they haven't done any of those 3 things, we're not going to stop reaching out. Why would we? They haven't told us to stop. They haven't died, and they also haven't bought from us. So why stop? If they tell us to stop, we'll stop. But if they don't tell us to stop, then we're not going to stop. Like, that's stupid. And that ultimately ties in to the 14-day automated email sequence. Every single day for 2 weeks straight, we're going to hammer them with emails. And these emails are actually written on Claude AI. We go in, same way I was talking about writing the ARCADS ads earlier in this video. You just thought, hey, I'm going to write 10 emails. Here's information about my business. Write it like Dan Henry. Write it like Dan Kennedy. Write it like Tony Robbins, just the best internet marketers. And then take these emails, put it into a flow inside of Go High Level, and I'll kind of show you guys what that flow looks like. Essentially what it is this is like a 7-day email sequence, so yours will actually be 14. That's what we personally have. It's email, wait 1 day, email, wait 1 day, just over and over and over. High quality emails written by Claude AI, same emails that people like Dan Henry would charge you $10,000 to make, but made in a second. So all these things will lead to the calendar, so then the lead can actually book their sales call and then eventually be sold. But before the sales call, there is a few things that we want to do. If you execute everything that I've shown you so far to your best ability, but can't figure out the sales stuff, you're going to struggle. This is most AI agency owners' #1 bottleneck is sales calls and closing deals. Not because AI is necessarily hard to sell, but because sales is a hard thing. Some people are born with it. The Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort, he's definitely one of those people. He's amazing. For other people, they're going to have to go through countless training, countless trial and error to get to even 10% of the level that he had before he even went through all of his own training. So that said, we want to make the sales call as easy as possible. We don't want it to be a hard sale. When most people book sales calls, it's a hard sale. But what we do is we have a pre-call process that makes the sale easier. It's still not a cakewalk. It's still going to take effort to get the sale, but it's 10 times easier than if you were to go at it alone. So we have that pre-call page. I've already shown you guys this where you have a video right here. But why do we do this video? Well, if you look at the largest companies in the world, for example, Disney, they make a bunch of movies. Why do they make Disney movies? The truth is, they actually go negative on a lot of the movies they make. They don't make money on most of the movies that they produce. But the reason they make movies is because it nurtures people into liking the Disney brand. It nurtures people into trusting the Disney brand. When people know, like, and trust Disney, they're more likely to spend money to go to Disney World, spend thousands of dollars on a vacation with Disney, buy a bunch of food while they're there, do 20 different upsells. So as an AI agency, we do the exact thing. Now, on average, it takes 7 hours of content consumption for someone to make their own educated buying decision. And this isn't anything to do with AI. This is just general sales knowledge. This is a study. Google actually ran it themselves. And the truth is, you'll never get them to 7 hours. 7 hours is incredibly hard to do in between somebody booking a call and then having that sales call with you. That's a very hard goal to hit. But think of it this way. If you can even get them 25% on that scale of 7 hours from 0 all the way up to around here, would that not make the sale 10 times easier for you? Now, you could do other stuff. You could have a YouTube channel, like what we've talked about before, to nurture people with more content. You could build a free Facebook group, for example. Maybe you could have a bunch of case studies, free documents for people to go through before their sales call. The truth is, you'll never get them to 7 hours, but at least try to get them a little bit closer. Some people, they'll book a call and they won't watch your pre-call video. They won't do any of the extra steps you provide. They won't watch any testimonials. That's just some people. That's how they are. There's no way to stop that. But if 50% of the people you book will go and consume 1 hour of content from you, that's better than them consuming 0. So that's why we create a pre-call video. Now, pre-call videos are only hard if you make them. Pre-call videos can be super simple. It can be a slideshow presentation. Something that looks a little bit like this. Very simple slides, just showing text. And all you're doing is you're recording yourself. And you don't even have to have your face on. You don't even have to have the camera on. You're just voiceovering these slides. And what you're doing is you're just spending time nurturing them. So as a quick reminder before we dive in, since this is typically a $500 consulting session, we have a policy to charge a $100 fee if these 3 things happen. If you no-show the appointment, if you show up in a distracted environment, you don't watch the video, blah, blah, blah. This is like anchoring them on actually showing up before you even jump into the value. Then you say, hey, in this video, I'll share 2 things you need to get the most out of your growth consultation, which is what you're obviously calling a sales call. You don't want to call a sales call. Why AI will forever change the business landscape, and how you can capitalize off of AI and print loads of money this year by using the insights above. You know, my specific goal for what this training helps you do. Break down what you want it to do. And all you're doing, guys, is you're spending all this time making yourself look credible, making your company look credible, making what you talk about make sense, showing data and insight, showing data from companies like McKinsey & Company. And we'll get to that in a second, but like show them data, show them why AI is worth investing in, why they should put their money into you compared to an average agency or maybe another AI agency. Explain to them data and insights. That's one thing that people don't talk about enough. If you're the guy who presents a bunch of data, and it does have to be your data, you can go wipe it from companies like McKinsey & Company, the largest consulting firm in the world, the same consulting firm that consults companies like Microsoft, the US Department of Defense, and many more. You can take their data that they're spending millions of dollars for, but be the guy who presents it to the local business owner, and to that local business owner, John, who runs an HVAC company, for all he knows, you found it. For all he knows, you did the research. And you can take full credibility and be the smart, authoritative guy who did all that research. So that's what we're doing. We're making ourselves sound intelligent. Like, people don't want to buy from unintelligent people, especially when it comes to stuff like AI. You're breaking down the numbers. You're making people feel stupid if they don't buy from you. You're showing them that, hey, if you have 100,000 leads and it'll take a team of 10, it'll take them 100 working days to call. But with AI, you can do 75. You get what I'm saying? Like, you're just breaking down the numbers. And people feel stupid when they don't buy from you, when everything is broken down in a simple way. You're educating people before the sales call. And like I mentioned before, when I was showing you guys the pre-call page inside of the funnel setups and go high level, the best sales pages are also the best pre-call pages. So not only are we just having them watch a pre-call video, but we're also upselling them on doing other things. Maybe joining a Facebook group, maybe confirming the call on their calendar, like we showed you on that page, maybe watching testimonials, like I showed you on that page. Maybe it's going through a Google Doc where you break down a playbook on how you can do XYZ with AI for your HVAC company. Whatever it may be, you don't want to just stop the video. Most people, they won't upsell themselves. Some people won't even watch the video in general, but you want the option. That's what matters. You want the option to exist. So if somebody wants to upsell themselves, they can, okay? So that's essentially what you're doing. And an example of what one of those Google Docs could be is something like this, where you're just showing off, hey, these are like examples of what the AI caller can do. It can do cold calling appointment setting. It can do customer service. You show its capabilities. You could show maybe screenshots of results that it's provided. A simple document like this can go a long way. Not most people won't go through this. Most people will never see this document, but the 10% who will are now 30% more likely to close when you get them on a sales call. And when you stack that up over a year time span, that's the difference between you making 100 grand and 200 grand, if you really think about it. So guys, try. Most people, they try so hard on everything I've shown you guys before, making the best funnels, making the best YouTube videos, but they forget about the pre-call steps. If you guys don't do this, your sales calls are going to be tragic. It's going to be an uphill battle every single time. You're going to talk to uneducated people, people who don't trust you, people who are on edge. They have no reason to trust you. Let's be honest. They have no reason to trust you. They either saw you on YouTube or clicked a Facebook ad. These people don't trust you. They're not going to send you 10 grand. You got to make them trust you. If you're a great sales guy, you can go on the phone and you can do that. But I'm just being honest. I'm not the best sales guy. You watching this video are probably not the best sales guy. We're going to have to put in a little bit of extra work to make something like that happen. And to do that, we got to work on pre-call processes. Now that you guys know how to nurture people so they show up prepared, let's talk about actually getting them to show up in the first place. So this is the post-booking automations. This is my sequence that I use in my agency. So a prospect will book a call. They get an immediate confirmation email. It sounds very robotic. It's just like, your appointment's at this time, this date, here's the Zoom link, here's all this stuff. Very simple stuff. After that, they get a human-sounding pre-call video email, and then they get a human-sounding SMS or text message. So we purposely make this one sound super robotic, so then this one, in comparison, sounds a lot more human, and they think a human actually wrote it. And we also wait a minute, so it sounds like, oh, this guy waited a minute, or he actually typed it, opposed to this automated thing that immediately gets sent out. So it sounds a little bit more human, and we wait 6 seconds, and we send a second text message. Wait 12 seconds, then we send a third SMS message. And the reason we break it up is, once again, we want it to look human. 3 different messages opposed to this big wall of message is a huge difference when it comes to, like, is this AI or is this a real human? A lot more people are going to think it's a real human. So first 2 is just like, hey, this is name, just like quick message. Then you're like, notice you booked in your call for XYZ date. Here's the Zoom link. And then the third one is just a link to that pre-call page to get them to watch that pre-call video. Like, hey, if you don't mind, could you check out this video? It's 30 minutes long, mean a bunch. Then you wait 24 hours before the appointment, and you send them a reminder email, reminder SMS. 1 hour before the appointment, send them an AI call. So you're going to use a retail AI caller. I know I've talked about it before within this video, but retail AI is probably the best AI calling platform that you guys can use right now. You're just going to build one for yourself. If you don't want to build one, I don't blame you. I wouldn't build one. You can just hire somebody to do it. But even if you don't want to hire somebody to do it, you want to keep costs down, this is more of like an optional thing. You don't have to use the AI caller to do the reminder if you don't want to. But either way, you're going to do a 1 hour SMS reminder and then a 1 hour email reminder. 10 minutes before, you're going to drop a voicemail. So this is kind of uncanny, but this is actually something you can do inside of Go High Level, where you can pre-record yourself talking, for example, and then drop it to a business owner. Then you send a 10-minute email and a 10-minute SMS. So then hopefully they show up on the sales call. So let's talk about the sales script that you will be using on this call. Okay, so the sales call all starts with the intro. So just to check before we dive in, have you watched the pre-call training video? Guys, we're making sure they watch the video, because guess what? This call is not worth doing if they didn't watch that video. Unless you're an expert sales rep. And let's all just be honest with each other. 90% of people watching this video probably aren't. So if they haven't watched that pre-call video, we're just going to reschedule a call back. All good, dude. I need you to watch that before we go into stuff. Let's just reschedule later today, maybe tomorrow. Make sure you go through that. Send them a link. Boom, done. And then the final thing is, okay, cool. Assuming they did watch it, did that answer most of your questions, or did you still have a few to start with? What I call this is killing the zombies. Every question or an objection coming at you is like a zombie coming at you. They're slowly walking to you, and if you let them get close enough, they're gonna bite you. So you wanna pre-handle those things. You wanna kill the zombies before they even remotely get close to you. So essentially what you're doing is just killing the zombie. If they had any questions from that video after watching, because let's be honest, there might be a few things that were immediately on their mind, just get it out the way so it doesn't come and bite you in the ass later. Now after that, you go into discovery. Where are you now? How long has it been that way? Where are you trying to go? Is this a now thing, or is this something you want to push down the line a few months? Do you feel like you can fix this on your own, or are you going to need some help? And then why are you going to need that help? That's a very important question. Why do you need help? You're basically just getting them to open up and explain why they need you. Like, why do you need to buy from me? I'm in the position of authority. Why do you need me? Why did you book this call? And after all that stuff, cool name. So based on everything you told me, I definitely think we can work well together. Is there anything else you think I should know, or anything you feel like would be good for me to know before we move forward on how we could work together? Once again, guys, we're killing the zombies. If after that discovery phase, anything came up, we're just getting it pre-handled so it doesn't bite us when we're going into our pitch and going into the important stuff where it pertains around you guys getting paid. Now, before the high-level overview, which is essentially the pitch where you explain what you do, I have this conversion phase, and you always want to say this in the most bubbly way possible. You can't say it in like a mean or authoritative way. You actually have to say it in a very nice way. So this is how it goes down. Perfect, dude. Before we dive in, can I just ask a super simple favor from you? Awesome, bro. I appreciate it. So I usually take 6 to 7 of these calls every single day, and I always hear one of 3 different things. Number one is, heck yeah, Wyatt, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And dude, if that's the case, it's not my first rodeo. I can get you onboarded in a matter of minutes. Second thing I hear is, screw you, Wyatt, this is not for me. And dude, man to man, if it's a simple no, just let me know so we're not wasting each other's time here. And then the third thing that I hear, and it's particularly what I want to refrain from, is the, Wyatt, I got to think about it. Wyatt, I got to ask my wife. I got to see if the Easter Bunny will let me buy this. Man to man, can we keep it as simple yes or no after I break all this down? And you're backing these people into a corner, guys. They're going to say yes. Oh, of course I'll keep it as simple yes or no. Because it's awkward to say, nah, bro, I'm going to have to think about it after you break it all down. 90% of people just agree. So then now you're putting yourself in a position where the I got to think about it objection can't even happen in the first place. Now, after you've confirmed that they're not going to think about it, we transition to actually showing them the thing. And the thing that we're going to show them is actually on this Lucidchart. So I use Lucidchart to actually do all my sales calls. A lot of people have slideshow presentations. A lot of people like to pull up the systems. Don't do that, guys. Confused buyers don't buy. If you confuse people with 20,000 things, they're not going to buy from you. So this is the first time you're actually showing the business owner the AI system that you're going to sell. If you guys remember when we were doing that website, we came up with a quirky name for our AI system. You're just going to put that same quirky name into your presentation that looks exactly like this. I literally present it on Lucidchart just like I'm doing right now. And the way that you're going to break it down is awesome. So everything is broken down into 3 different pillars. Pillar number 1 is lead generation. You fill out our onboarding form. We're going to create ads with human-looking AI actors, send those ads for your approval, then ads are launched and leads start to flow. Then after leads are flowing, we're going to start setting those leads into sales appointments. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to use an AI calling appointment setter to call all the new leads and set them directly into your appointment calendar, then even remind those leads to actually show up so you're not dealing with no-shows all day. Now, once these people start showing up to sales calls, we're going to help you close more of those sales calls by you providing us with your 5 most recent sales call recordings. We plug them into our sales-oriented AI platform and send those new scripts for your approval. And then once you approve those scripts, we test them and iterate as needed. That was a 30-second to 1-minute pitch, guys. I just explained the entire offer. I explained to the business owner, I'm going to help him do everything from generating a lead to close that lead within 30 seconds to 1 minute. I didn't confuse them. I didn't show them a bunch of random stuff. And that's why I close deals. That's why I am a top 1% AI agency owner and most people are not. And that's not me trying to brag. That's not me trying to show off. I'm just saying I've mastered this. A lot of people, they want to show 20 things. When I first started, I want to show 20 things. But trust me, guys, do not do that. It's going to hurt you in the end. Now, let's say they still have objections. Let's say you're struggling to close them still. They watch the pre-call video, you go through that pitch, you even got them to agree. Maybe after agreeing, they sidetrack themselves like, oh, nah, bro, I'm going to actually have to think about it. That's where we pull out the utility belt, okay? So this is like we're Batman. We have a bunch of tools in our utility belt. For example, one of them is the AI ROI calculator. I give this to members of my private mastermind. I use it for my own AI agency. We custom developed it. But basically, we ask the business like, hey, how many sales reps do you have? How many hours per day do they work? How many leads do they call per day? And then we can compare those numbers with an AI agent and then show them how much money they would be making or saving if they just used AI instead. Once again, we're showing real data to business owners to make them feel stupid for saying no to your solution. Make them feel stupid if they object to the idea of buying your stuff from you. Very important. Then once again, you have McKinsey & Company data and insights on standby. Maybe it's the same stuff you put into a slideshow. Maybe you should get a little bit more. I would suggest finding some special ones just for the sales calls. Just find data on how businesses are using AI. Find data showing that AI helps businesses. So then once again, if they're like, oh, I don't know if it'll work for me, make them feel stupid. And then the final thing is just, of course, reviews, guys. It's simple, but have reviews. We have 140 5-star reviews on Trustpilot, so we have a lot of trust there. We have loads of testimonials. I know I keep on using the same photo because I don't want to give away all my data and all my stats for you guys to go steal. That's for the mastermind guys exclusively. But like, you can show them data. You can show them real numbers from what your AI caller is generating for other businesses. And the best part about this is, guys, if you're to go on a call and you show them the tech savvy side, not only are you putting yourself in a position to start a bunch of questions and objections, but it's also putting yourself in a position where it's like now the sales call is harder. You have to know all these things off the top of your head. But when you have curated data, curated screenshots, curated insights, a curated real-time AI ROI calculator, it's making it easy for yourself as well. So now to the final piece of the puzzle. You just closed your client. It's time to fulfill. Now, obviously, with the AI arbitrage agency, you are not fulfilling yourself. You're hiring people to fulfill. But I need to explain to you guys what you're hiring people to fulfill on and how to hire them. So we will be talking about that in this video. So part number one of that free step offer that we've been talking about this entire time is generating leads. To start, you need to create a custom ChatGPT ad script generating prompt based on whatever niche you're in. So for example, let's say you're working with a dentist clinics. Then you want to have a prompt where it's like you literally just put the name of the dental clinic in, put it into ChatGPT, and it generates script on autopilot. Now, the best part is you don't need to do any of this yourself because the white label agency that I'm about to show you is going to do all that for you. And it's going to generate infinite ad scripts in a click of a button. And you're going to plug those ad scripts directly into arcads.ai. And just like that, 30 minutes later, it'll generate human-looking and sounding AI actors for these business owners. And this is huge because John, who runs an HVAC company, hates sitting in front of the camera just like I'm doing for you guys right now. Absolutely hates it, is not going to do it. Now, if this, they don't have to do it. They don't have to do it at all. It's all done for them. So the company that's going to do all this for you is called Stealth White Label Agency. You guys can go book a call with them. I'm in no way affiliated with this company. It's just who I use, and it's who all the members of my mastermind use. I've never once received a bad review from a mastermind member who's used them or ever once had a bad experience using them myself. So Stealth White Label Agency is the way to go there. Now, after you generate that lead using Stealth Agency to do all of the above, which I just showed you, you're going to turn the lead into a sales appointment. So you're going to start by creating an appointment setting script in ChatGPT for whatever industry you're targeting. Once again, you're not actually doing this. I'm explaining how it's done. So they create that script, then they plug that script into Retail AI Calling Appointment Setter. Very easy stuff. Boom. And then the developer you hire will connect the AI Calling Appointment Setter with your client's appointment calendar using Zapier. Now, once again, we're using Retail AI, so we're going to go to Upwork and we're going to find a Retail AI developer. We're going to go to Post a Job. Then we're going to use our AI Job Builder. We're inside of it right now, where all we have to do is type in what we need. It's going to do everything A to Z from the job post, making it sound sexy so then it's ready to be posted. So all you got to say is, I need a Retail AI dev to build AI callers for my clients. Then press go. Retail AI developer for AI callers. We're seeking an expert retail AI developer to build AI callers for our clients. We need to have extensive experience in AI and voice technologies with a strong ability to design and implement. See, this is all AI generated. I didn't have to write any of this. It did it all for us. So when it comes to duration, there's a few things we're going to want to go ahead and do. This will be an ongoing project, and we want to make it more than 6 months. Even if it's not actually, this just makes the job posting sound way better. And then right here, I'm going to do job size large, freelancers needed 1, and then press next. After that, it's going to ask for requirements. The only thing the Upwork AI isn't very good at is figuring out the requirements. So it's like Adobe Illustrator, like why do they need that? Why do they need graphic design? They don't need icon design. Like you just don't need these things. So instead you're just going to replace it with like machine learning and machine learning algorithm, stuff like this, more AI centric stuff. That's a lot better to know. And then you're looking for an intermediate. So expert kind of scares some of the intermediate people because honestly, most of the intermediate people are more than enough to do the jobs that you need. And then press next. After that, it's going to ask you how much you want to pay them. If you guys remember from earlier in this video, we pay our AI developer $1,000 per client that they do. So we're just going to put $1,000 right here. And then we press finalize job post. And then just like that, it's going to ask you if you want to pay for a featured one, etc. Instead, you just want to post a standard job. It's completely free, costs nothing out of your pocket. You wait about 30 minutes to 1 hour, and you'll have half of every third world country reaching out to work for you. It's really that simple. And the best part about Upwork, and the reason I use Upwork internally, and the reason I think you should too, is it's very hard for people to lie on their application. Because on Upwork, everything is facilitated here. You can see right here that this guy has an 83% job success rate. So honestly, he's not the best. I probably wouldn't hire him. I don't want anybody under like 95%. He's made $80,000 on Upwork. He's done 57 total jobs. You can see how other people just like you, how business owners just like me and you have reviewed this guy. You can see if he has bad reviews. Right here, this guy. He's like, hey, receiving a 1 star rating on this thing is very disappointing, etc. You can see how this guy operates, if he's good or not. And you can do that for every single person down this list. Now, obviously, you invite these people to go to your job. I recommend inviting as much people as it lets you. Eventually, Upwork is going to stop you from inviting people because there's a limit to how many people you can invite before they make you pay. But for the most part, most of them are going to be coming from people applying, not you inviting, but people applying. And you just review the proposals here, go through their profile just like I did. I usually look for 95% success rate or higher. If there's anything less, like that guy that we just reviewed, I wouldn't do it. But this guy right here, 95% job success, I would do that. And another thing to keep in mind too, guys, is look for people who put effort into their profile. The guy who puts effort into their profile is clearly looking for a job. They're clearly looking for something to do. So give them the opportunity to do it. They're going to be harder workers than the guy who's, has that low effort profile, who doesn't really try. So that's my advice there. Now, the final thing you need to do is close the sales call. So you're going to transcribe the sales recordings into text, or the person you hire will, just using like a free transcriber tool. For example, you could use Rev, which is a free one on Google. Literally any transcription tool will work. You plug them into Claude AI and you just ask Claude AI, hey, can you analyze a sales script? Can you figure out the most common questions, figure out the most common objections, and rebuild the script from the ground up to pre-handle all those things. And just like that, it'll generate a new script for your client. Like I said, this is all done on Claude AI, but it's not done by you. You're going to go right back to Upwork and you're just going to post a new job same way we did before. I'm not going to go through the whole process again, but essentially just all you're looking for is, I need a general virtual assistant to do a virtual assistant admin task. This is unskilled labor, guys. Anybody can transcribe recordings and then copy and paste the template message in the Claude AI to generate a new script just like that. And assuming you do these three things, you'll be able to build a really good system for your client. And if you're wondering how you communicate with these clients, it does depend on niche. Some niches will prefer to have all communications housed in just a normal text message group chat. Other people will want to do it inside of Slack. Maybe the high ticket online business owners, they're pretty Discord oriented. They might want a private Discord community. But this is essentially how you fulfill for clients and make them happy clients who pay you for life. Assuming you can make the first 90 days go right, you can turn them into a client who pays you $1,000 or $2,000 every single month for the rest of your life. At the start of this year, we were processing payments on WAP. We processed $630,000 worth of payments from January all the way up until June. Then we switched to fan basis and have processed another $630,000 since then, totaling $1.2 million made from January until now, which is October 17th of 2025. So if you want to get the most out of the next digital gold rush and get in on this massive opportunity, I know I mentioned it a few times throughout this video, but I do run a private AI agency mastermind. You basically get my personal phone number. You can text me whenever you have questions. I do 5 weekly Zoom calls where you can hop on and ask me any questions you'd like. You get all my templates and systems to acquire clients, and you get all my templates and systems to fulfill for those clients and make them happy clients who pay you for life. So if this is even 1% interesting to you, click the top and only link in the description of this video to book a one-on-one game plan call, either with me personally or my business partner if I can't make it, where we'll number one, give you a bit of a game plan to start and scale your own agency, but more importantly, see if we feel like you're a fit for the mastermind and extend an invitation if we see a fit. So like I said, guys, if you're even 1% interested, click that link in the description, book that game plan call, and I look forward to seeing you guys there. Bye-bye.